أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين، ثم الصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه العبد المؤيد والرسول المسدد حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين وصحابته المنتجبين. قال الله تعالى في كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، ادع إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة وجادلهم بالتي هي أحسن. صدق الله العلي العظيم. No one can deny the power that the media holds here in the West. Since it's a free press, the media is not under the control of the government, it's a free press. Thus, it carries a lot of importance, a lot of significance, a lot of weight. Everyone knows the amount of power that the media has in shaping public opinion. You can either give a good image of a politician or a religion or a group or a country through the media, or you can damage the reputation and the name and the image of a politician or a political group or a religion or a country through the media. The media plays a very important role. What do we mean by the media? We mean the news, for example, CNN, BBC. We mean TV shows, TV series, and movies. We mean late night TV shows. These are all part of the media. What people get to see on TV, whether it's the news or entertainment, this is all part of the media. Now, the media can play a very detrimental role, can play a very important role in any cause, to promote a cause or to destroy that cause. We've seen how certain political figures became popular and rose thanks to the media. And we saw how the media can destroy a political campaign and destroy the political career of a politician. In the past several decades, we've noticed that the media has played a negative role in portraying Islam and in portraying Muslims. They've given a negative image of Islam. Whether they do this willingly, knowingly, or not, that's besides the question. But the image that has remained in the minds of people because of the media has been negative. If you notice any terrorist attack that occurs in the West, in Europe, in America, the media immediately, before asking questions of could it be, a lone wolf, who could it, immediately they raise questions on Muslims. Could have been a Muslim. Who was the target? Who was the perpetrator? Who carried out these attacks? Immediately they begin to link this incident with Islam and with Muslims. Without getting the facts, without knowing actually what happened, they put the link to Islam. This has occurred many times, while the incident was carried out by, for example, an American, a white American, or a white European, or a white Canadian, that has nothing to do with Islam. Thus, the media has played a negative role. And the movies as well. I remember in the 90s, there were a series of movies that depicted Muslims as hijacking of airplanes. They hijack airplanes. They're anti-American. They're anti-Western. They're terrorists. Now this is Hollywood. When Hollywood shows you a movie of Muslims killing and destroying and hijacking, what are people going to think? What is your average American going to think? What is your average Canadian going to think about Islam? When he's seen a 2-hour movie of Muslims hijacking an airplane and killing people, going out, killing random individuals, random strangers, they're going to develop a negative image of Islam and of Muslims. I remember many movies have come out from Hollywood. And Muslims, they protested, they wrote a couple of emails, but nothing happened. The movie came out and it made millions of dollars and the damage was done. The name of Islam was ruined. The image of Islam and Muslims was ruined thanks to a couple of movies and sometimes TV series. This is a problem. What do? Do we Muslims just sit there and not do anything and say, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah? The media is ruining our name, ruining our image, and there's nothing that we could do about it. Or we become active. We decide to make a difference. We decide to make a change. The option is ours. My dear friends, movies, TV series, even cartoons, they play a major role. They can either destroy a group or promote a group. Look at the media today. Today, especially in Hollywood, they try to incorporate the minorities in movies, in TV series. That is why, if you notice, you will find in most movies there has to be at least one person that's black. There has to be at least one person that's Hispanic. At least a couple of females, and so on and so forth. In addition to other minorities that have been persecuted in the West. One of the ways that you desensitize, you get people to accept the other, especially minorities, is that you portray them on TV. When you see a Hispanic or an African American or a black person on TV, in a movie, in a TV series, and they're normal human beings, right? They exercise, they go to work, they eat pizza, they come back home, they have kids, they go out on the weekends. You realize that these are normal human beings. You begin to accept them. Any minority, any religious group, non-religious group, a nationality, ethnicity, if you want them to be accepted by the masses, by the people, put them on TV. Put them in a movie. Put them in a TV series. After a while, that scene of these minorities will be normal. Unfortunately, we don't have Muslims on TV. Very, very few. How many Muslims do you see in movies? How many women with hijab do you see in movies or in TV series? None. This has to change. When you see 1 or 2 females in a movie, not us, but your average American or your average Canadian or your average Australian, they'll begin to accept the sight of hijab will be normal. The sight of a person praying, I'm sure you've noticed this, when you pray in a public place, at an airport for example, how many people stare at you? Of course, a lot of people. They're waiting for you to explode. They're waiting for you to shout Allahu Akbar and explode. And if you want to have some fun, say Allahu Akbar once in a while, see what happens. Why? Why do they get scared? Because it's not a scene that they see every day. It's not something that they see every day. But if they see it on TV, if they see it in a movie or a TV series, it'll become normal. They'll be desensitized. It'll become part of their life. We, my dear friends, unfortunately we have not taken this path. We have not thought of going into the media. We have not thought of going into Hollywood. We have not thought of going into acting. What's wrong with it? If it serves the purpose of Islam, if it serves the purpose of Muslims. What's wrong with having some of our youth, they go into acting by respecting their Islam, by observing the laws of Islam, by observing the laws of hijab, but at the same time being portrayed on Hollywood, being portrayed on the big screen. This will desensitize. This will help the non-Muslim community be more accepting of the Muslim community. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Westerners need to see that we Muslims are normal human beings. We also want to live the American dream or the Canadian dream. We also wake up early in the morning and we go to work and we get stuck in traffic, right? We also like to go out on the weekends. We also eat their food. We also eat pizza and enjoy Western food. We're just like the rest of the people. There's nothing wrong about us. There's nothing different about us. But they don't know that. They think that we're different. Unless they see us on TV, in movies, in TV series, they begin to get accustomed to us. Just like all other minorities. How did the West become accepting of all others? Through the media. We have to act. Today, my dear friends, and this is something positive, we have a new generation of Muslims that have gone into the media, in the news, and on social media, not into acting. Unfortunately, we do not have any youth that have gone into acting on the big screen in Hollywood. But we have some youth that have gone into media, into news media. And they're doing a fantastic job. I'll give you one example. We have a fantastic youth who's gone in the media and who's making a big difference. His name is Mehdi Hassan. How many of you have heard of Mehdi Hassan? Mehdi Hassan is doing a fantastic job. His English is very good. He knows how to corner his opponents. And he's supporting Islam indirectly. He's supporting Islam and the Islamic cause indirectly, without coming out publicly. He's doing a fantastic job. Look at his shows on Al Jazeera and on other news outlets. You'll see that he's making a difference for the cause of Islam and the cause of Muslims. But how many do we have people like Mehdi Hassan that are strong journalists, that know how to corner their opponents and get them to say the truth? Very few. Very few. We have a couple of others. We have a brother named Wajahat Ali. We have a sister named Linda Sarsour. But these are only a handful. 3, 4, 5, not more, that are making a difference in the media. How many of our youth are looking into going into journalism? This is something that I encourage our youth to look into. Now that you're in high school or you're in college, you still haven't decided your major, you still haven't decided what you want to major in, consider journalism. Journalism is a very important field that you can serve Islam and you can serve Muslims through journalism. How many journalists do we have that are writing for the New York Times? Or the Washington Post? Or the Washington Journal? Not a lot. Maybe 1 or 2 or none. We don't have good journalists that are fighting for Islamic causes and for the right of Islam and for the right of Muslims. We don't. These newspapers, my dear brothers and sisters, they are the ones that shape public policy. They influence public policy. Because all congressmen and senators, they read the New York Times. They read the Washington Post. So it shapes their opinions. It shapes public opinion and public policy. We need authors. We need writers. If you are good at writing, if you're a good journalist and you have good journalistic skills, go into journalism. Consider it. Not just for your own popularity, for your own sake, but for the sake of Islam and for the cause of Muslims. This is something that we need. If we want to be successful, if we want Islam to be successful in this country, we need good media. We need good propaganda. We need a good name and image in the media, whether it's in the news or in movies and TV series, whether it's on social media, whether it's in the newspapers and the top newspapers of the country and the neighboring countries, Western countries. We need good journalism. We need good media. We need good coverage of Islam. Unfortunately, there is negative coverage of Islam. There was a book that came out many years ago, maybe 15 to 20 years ago. The book is called Covering Islam by Edward Said. I don't know if you've read it or you've heard of it. Edward Said was a brilliant scholar. And he was Christian, he was not Muslim. He wrote a book called Covering Islam. And in his book he proves that the media has a bias towards Islam. They will give you a negative image of Islam. They'll give you a biased opinion of Islam. They don't want you to hear the real story because they have political agendas. So the media has to go in, it has to fit in the political narrative. They don't want to give you a good picture. Let me give you an example. The Arba'in. In a couple of days, the Arba'in will come. Do you hear about the Arba'in on CNN? Or in the news? Or in the media? No. Why? Only the first year, after the fall of Saddam, there was news coverage. There was media coverage of the Arba'in. But now, Arba'in is coming. Watch the news. Watch CNN. Watch BBC. You will not see coverage of the Arba'in. If it was anywhere else in the world, there'll be live 24-hour coverage. But not the Arba'in. Why? Because it does not fit their narrative. It does not fit their political agenda. Only the first year. Why? Because they toppled Saddam. They toppled Saddam. So they want to take credit to the ziyarah, for the ziyarah. They want to say, see, if it wasn't for us, these millions of people would not have been able to go to Karbala. But today, it doesn't fit their political narrative. It doesn't fit their story. They can't take credit for it, so they won't cover it. You see? It's as simple as that. We have to do something. We have to do something about this. Al-Arba'in is the biggest event of the year, the largest gathering in the world, 20 million. But who covers it? You don't see it in the media. If it was anywhere else in the world would have been upside down, would have went upside down. But no one cares because it's Arba'in, because it's in Karbala, because it's the Shia that are holding it. We have to do something. See, my dear friends, even Imam Hussein cared for the media. How? Imam Hussein, he wanted his voice to be heard. So who did he take with them? Who did he take to Karbala? Sayyidah Zainab salamullah alayha. And he took the women and children. When he was asked by Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiyyah, why are you going to Iraq? He said, Sha'Allahu an yarani qatila. And then he was asked, why are you taking the women? What did he say? Sha'Allahu an yarahunna sabaya. This was a plan. Imam Hussein alayhi salam wanted his sister to carry his voice. Imagine if Imam Hussein was slaughtered in Karbala and there were no women. Who would have heard about the message? Who would have delivered the message? Who would have delivered the voice of Imam Hussein? It was his sister. His sister was his media vehicle. She carried the torch. She carried the message. So 14 centuries ago, Imam Hussein taught us the importance of media, of getting your getting your voice heard, spreading the message, spreading the voice. Let's learn from Imam Hussein. Let's concentrate on the media. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم والحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين.